This is the $4 million question. What do you do? The price of Bitcoin has been dropping all afternoon. You are short from this level here. And since the price of Bitcoin has been dropping, you're in a profit. Your profit is $12,000 right now. Earlier, it was $50,000. But earlier before that, it was minus $70,000. So you've gone from minus $70,000 to plus $12,000, but peaked at plus $50,000. But you expect the price is going to continue in its decline. So what do you do? What is the correct thing to do in that scenario? Is it to remove the trade, dump the leverage, take the profit and exit? Or is it to stick with it and hope for the best? But if it goes in the wrong direction, it's going to get very expensive very quickly. Well, today I'm going to explain to you what I'm going to do, because that's the exact situation I find myself in right now, and it's not really an enviable one. I've not been well for the past few days. I have a bit of a cold, so if you're wondering why my voice is so deep, I just have a bit of a throat thing going on right now. But anyway, today, interesting conundrum. Slap a like, subscribe, and let's crack on with today's video. So starting out today's video, $51,527 is the current price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks like this right now. We went up today, then we went down. Now, the reason that I'm short right now is because of the S&P 500. The S&P 500 has been trending down all day. I expected a negative day today. We got that negative day. Now, because the S&P is trending down, and excuse me for coughing, because I'll have them several times in today's video, because the S&P is down, Bitcoin is down. I think the S&P has potentially peaked for a while. Like, look at it right now. This is the daily chart for the S&P. Looks to me like a little bit of a tops forming. You're seeing in the news, in the media, non-stop headlines about, oh, we're in a recession and the stocks and everything, they're going to go bad and the housing market's going to crash and all this other nonsense. Most of it's probably not going to happen. But what we will probably have is a bit of a flash crash. Again, Bitcoin is quite overhyped right now. A lot of interest going into Bitcoin halving. It's not to say that Bitcoin is a bad investment. Absolutely not. I do hold a lot of Bitcoin and I continually buy more Bitcoin every day. It just comes down to the short-term trading aspect for Bitcoin right now. I'm just bearish. I don't think it's a great idea to be entering into huge long positions at these levels. I feel like we're clearly entering to a clear level of resistance. Otherwise, we'd have slapped through it already. And as we've not slapped through it, the odds are that we start heading to the downside. The longer that we go sideways, the more likely it is that we go down. And typically, this is not a particularly bullish formation anyway. What we've done here is, yes, we may have made the higher high, but we got rejected from pretty much a perfect inverse head and shoulders. Now, that's not great news for Bitcoin. We could have done with that. But the interesting thing here is we've got several key levels of liquidity lower down. Even more interestingly than that lower levels of liquidity would be the funding rates right now for Bitcoin. Now, if we go to the current funding rates for Bitcoin, you can see a lot of the funding rates here have reset. A lot of them for Bitcoin have come back to pretty much neutral again. That's good, but when you start looking at Ethereum here, you can see that we still have very strong funding on Ethereum, very strong funding on Solana, very strong funding on XRP, not so much on Doge, but again, strong funding on Link. And when you look at it over the course of the day, what it's actually worked out at, well, we've still got some pretty strong funding going on right now from all the markets. This is not great news. This means that longing is more expensive. What we did today is we took out all of the short positions and then we took out all of the long positions. This is the Bitcoin liquidation heat map. Let's get an updated version of that heat map to assess what's going on right now and assess on a longer time frame if there is many key levels of liquidity that we could potentially be about to take out. First things first, when it cares to load, there we go. What we've got here is just below the level of 51,000. There's a lot of liquidity that could potentially got taken out. My projection is that we actually come down to $48,000. Let me explain why. Because again, $48,000 sounds like a long way off, to be honest. Sounds like a bit of a long shot. Sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about. First things first would be, look, we've lost this key level of support here. Being that we've lost this key level of support that dates back to $46,000, we need to assess, where does the next key level of support kick in? Well, that next key level of support kicks in all the way down at these levels down here at $49,700. But at $49,700, you know what Bitcoin's like. It always does a big fat wick. So we'll probably just come down and revisit this kind of $48,000 level. From my perspective, that seems like a likely scenario. Now, it's not the only scenario that I think is likely right now. If we go over here to the 1 hour chart on the price of Bitcoin, you can see that we also have this lower level of support here, dating all the way back to $38,600. And if we were to lose the level of support that I just discussed, kind of around $48,000 around these levels, then we're likely to come down and test these three levels down here, somewhere around $46,000 to $45,000. It really depends where we land in this range. But if you look historically at what happens to the price of Bitcoin during these turbulent periods of time, if we find the most recent top on Bitcoin and see what that most recent top looked like, I need to just change. There we go, so we can actually get to it. Bitcoin looks like it's going up, looks like it's going up, looks like it's going up. Like today, when it really looked like it was going up. This is $49,000 if you look up here. So basically, in the span of a couple of hours, shot from kind of $47,000, $46,000 up to about $49,000, and then proceeded to crash all the way down to $41,000. And no one really expected that to happen. And then it went all the way down here to $38,000. I'm just pointing out to you, it's important to stay realistic, and that in every bull market, we have pullbacks. It's a matter of when is that pullback going to happen. It's pretty clear to me at this point in time, we've been testing and testing and testing the upside level of this level of resistance. The question is, when are we going to come and test some support? We've been testing resistance a lot recently. When are we going to go and test support? And if you want to trade these markets right now, check them out. You'll find PHEMEX linked in today's video description. And currently on PHEMEX, I got a couple of interesting trades open. Short position, on Ethereum that is currently $80 in a loss in terms of the value of the Ethereum, generating me a nice $20,000 loss. But the question is, again, at this point in time, do you cut the loss here? I'm okay taking a $20,000 loss. I've already got $36,000 in the account. I can quickly double it back up again and get my money back. It's not really an issue. Or do you hold on to it and stick with the plan here and expect that actually a pullback's quite likely again on the price of Ethereum? Because when looking at Bitcoin right now, Bitcoin to me looks peaked. But if you look at the price of Ethereum right now, go over to the Ethereum USD chart, does this not look peaked to you as well? This looks pretty high to me, and generally is that when we reach these levels, we go spike, 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 and we can't get any higher. And we've been doing that quite a lot recently. If you look at the 4 hour, it's like spike up, spike up, spike up, and we're just not getting any higher. So from my perspective, pretty soon, we're going to have a big spike to the downside. It just seems inevitable. And when that spike to the downside comes, I want to have caught it. So I'm funding my positions with whatever funding they require right now to hold on to these shorts. I'm being sensible with it. We're not over leveraging ourselves too much. And I'm expecting that we get some pretty decent drops down in the next 24, 48, 72 hours, sometime this week. I'm going to be doing 24-hour days watching these trades because there's a lot of money on the line here. And I want to know what you'd do if you were in my position. Would you be selling right now or would you be buying? If you do want to trade, check out PHEMEX. No KYC, no restrictions. You can use it from anywhere in the world. Just make sure if you're in the USA, you're using a VPN. Other than that, no one else needs a VPN, but you should get one anyway. Again, if you don't have a VPN, use ExpressVPN. You'll find a link for that in today's video description. It's like 95% off or something stupid. Anyway, on that note, what else is there to discuss? Stock market looks peaked. Bitcoin looks peaked. Everything looks pretty much peaked to me, and I think we're going to go for a little bit of... On that note, slap a like, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow morning driving my Ferrari, which is quite exciting because I always dreamt of owning a Ferrari. Anyway, see you in the morning, and my throat hopefully will be better by then. Have a good day, and slap a like. Bye.